2001 Honda clearance. It only happens once a year, and it's gone before you know it. It's a surefire hit. Go ahead, seize the moment.
You're watching the CBS-2 Information Network.
Live from Fifth Avenue, this is CBS-2 News This Morning.
Hello, everybody. Good morning. It's August 13th, Monday morning. I'm Lisa Hill.
I'm Michael Pomeranz, 6:30 right now. I want to tell you about an internet sex shocker on Long Island. Police said there was a couple out there, lured a teenager into their home, and then turned her into a slave.
Gosh, well, the live report on that. A new study on wine may surprise you.
And the weather you're waking up to, some more humidity.
More showers.
More showers. I'll tell you all about that in just a couple of moments.
In sports, though, a lost weekend for both of New York's baseball teams.
Plus, we're on top of your morning traffic. But first, mosquito spraying getting underway tonight in Staten Island. The spraying is a precaution after a 74-year-old woman who lives in northern Staten Island was diagnosed with the West Nile virus. She is the first confirmed case in the area this year. Despite some criticism that the spraying is not necessary right now, Mayor Giuliani disagrees. He says his main concern is to make sure that nobody else contracts this mosquito-borne virus.
So I'd rather spray now and not wait for 5 or 6 more cases than somebody to die. And the reality is, you can spray safely. It's been very effective for us in the last 2 years in containing this and containing the number of human cases.
In case you were expecting the spraying last night, it was delayed because of the rain. Since 1999, the virus has killed 9 people in New York and New Jersey. Well, here is the revised spraying schedule. Weather permitting, city officials will begin their ground spraying attack tonight at 10 o'clock in non-residential green areas such as parks, cemeteries, and golf courses. Then on Tuesday night into Wednesday, spraying is planned for residential areas including parts of Mariners Harbor, West Brighton, and Elm Park, and all areas in Graniteville, Westerly, Castleton Corners, and Grimes Hill.
Well, spraying for the West Nile virus is creating pesticide salads all over the city. That's according to a man who wants to be the city's next public advocate. Assemblyman Scott Stringer says consumers may not know that they are buying produce that's been sprayed because a lot of stores leave the fruit and vegetables they sell outside and uncovered. Stringer says there should be 48 hours notice before any aerial spraying so that outdoor stands can move their produce inside. At a news conference yesterday, Assemblyman Scott Stringer also said that any fruits and vegetables exposed to aerial spraying should be thrown away, not sold. Let's check in and find out about the latest on traffic and weather. First, we begin with Don Piccin. He's in for Rachel Lutzker this morning. Good morning, Don.
I am, and good morning, Lisa. We got a problem driving locally down routes 1 and 9 through Newark. Right at the airport, you got a leaky car. It's on your left-hand side. It's causing some big-time delays heading southbound near the airport. Out to the big 3 Hudson River crossings, both elevations of the George looking dandy. Getting a little bit heavy here at the Lincoln, about 5 minutes. And we do have a bus on blocks. It's a Jersey Transit bus broke down on the 495 approach. Holland Tunnel's a little bit worse. You got about a 10-minute wait there. The Staten Island Expressway getting a little bit thick now, but still manageable at this point. And over on the East River crossings, the Hudson, make that the Triborough Bridge looks just fine here on the way into Manhattan, also off to the Bronx as well. Mass Transit, you can hop on that this morning. It's on time. And now Janine with the forecast.
All right, Don, thanks for that report this morning. And good morning. It's 73 degrees. The skies are cloudy, a lot like they were Saturday and Sunday, but at least right now for the morning commute, things are dry. We'll be looking for very high humidity through the morning hours. It's decreasing a little bit this afternoon. The humidity right now, 96%, so basically the air hardly can hold any more water at all. West wind 4 miles per hour, and eventually what's going to happen by about late Tuesday into Wednesday, this wind's going to switch around to north. We're going to look for a drier air mass. These humidity numbers will be down by about Wednesday morning. You'll notice a pretty big difference as the temperatures drop. Right now, basically uniform. The numbers haven't changed hour to hour. Right now, it's 73 at New York Central Park, Lower Hudson Valley, low 70s, and also around Long Island and southern Connecticut. Temperatures also in the 70s. The commute this morning, pretty much dry. This afternoon, that could change. In about 10 minutes, I'll have your 5-day forecast. Now, Michael, it's back to you.
All right. A Long Island couple is going to be arraigned later today on sex charges. Police say they lured a teenager from Massachusetts into their home after they met in an internet chat room. CBS 2 reporter Michael O'Looney live in Mineola with some tips to help your children stay out of harm's way on the web. Michael?
Michael, these are some common sense safety tips that parents can share with their children if they are logging on to internet chat rooms. The first, never get out any personal information such as your name, address, or telephone number without your parents' permission. Second, never agree to meet with anyone you met online without your parents' approval. And if you do have that meeting, make sure it is in a public place and that your mother or father comes along with you. And third, never give out your internet password to anyone other than your parents. And for more internet safety tips, you can log on to safekids.com. Live in Mineola, Michael O'Looney, CBS 2.
Michael, thank you. It's 6:36. There is much more straight ahead, including the Brooklyn community in mourning for the couple and the people who died in a helicopter crash in the Grand Canyon.
Plus, a new study says that wine drinkers are healthier, but not because they drink wine. That story in a moment.
You're on your way to help protect people. You're on your way to break down barriers. You're on your way to make people happy. You're on your way to work. The UAW Ford Partnership, working to build a better life.
Authentic Oriental rugs direct from Persia, only $7.99 each. All sizes, 6x9 through 9x12. A certificate of authenticity is proof positive that each rug is 100% wool, handmade, one of a kind, and just $7.99. It just can't be. Honesty and integrity in the Oriental rug business. It just can't be, but it is. Come on down.
Only the best deserves to be showcased. And now your Chrysler dealer is showcasing our most award-winning lineup of vehicles ever during the Chrysler Showcase sales event. Now on select minivans, get financing as low as 0.9% or get 1.9 APR for up to $4,500 in savings or a $2,000 cash allowance. So hurry to the Chrysler Showcase sales event today. Then you can showcase an award winner right in your own driveway.
New York's biggest secret isn't a club, but you can bring yours if you like. The Randall's Island Golf Center, a hideaway just minutes from Manhattan. The Randall's Island Golf Center, 80 driving range stations, plus a fully equipped pro shop with 4 PGA pros on site. Little time with the family, 2 beautiful miniature golf courses and batting cages, and fully catered corporate events for $50 to $500. The Randall's Island Golf Center, your New York golf hideaway, 212-427-5689.
CBS 2 time right now is 6:38. Let's see what's coming up at 7 o'clock on the early show.
Let's go to Bryant Gumbel. Good morning, Bryant.
Hey, guys. Good morning. Look, straight ahead this morning on the early show, we're going to talk of Napoleon Beasley. He is set to be executed in Texas tomorrow, and with that, there's a massive effort underway to spare his life. We'll talk with Beasley's parents this morning and also with the man who put him on death row. We'll also get into an incredible tale of what's called a paired exchange, 2 couples who got new leases on life by swapping kidneys. We'll update the condition of 2 victims of some recent highly publicized shark attacks. We'll talk with author Clive Cussler about his novels and his passion for discovering shipwrecks. All that, plus the Moody Blues in concert on the Plaza. It's all ahead for the early show on a Monday morning.
All right, Brian, thanks.
Have a good day.
Sure, we'll see you at 7.
A Brooklyn mother is struggling for her life this morning. She was severely burned over 80% of her body. Turns out she's the only survivor of a helicopter crash that killed 6 people at the Grand Canyon. The chopper was going down so fast that there was no time for a mayday call. Her name is 25-year-old Connie Doskel. She is in critical condition in the Las Vegas hospital. Her husband, David, 4 of their friends, and the pilot all died in Friday's crash. The doomed chopper was one of 2 hired for an aerial tour by 12 friends from Brooklyn. They were heading back to Las Vegas at the time of the crash. The only eyewitness, the pilot of the second helicopter.
He had a visual sighting on the helicopter, and he turned to do some task in the cockpit, and when he looked back, it was not there.
This is a terrible tragedy to us. I don't believe it. I was just talking to all of them just Sunday and having a good time with them, and all of a sudden here we hear they're not here anymore.
Funerals are scheduled for today, but they could be postponed because bad weather has delayed the victims' bodies' return to New York.
Time right now, 6:40. Coming up, take another look at traffic and weather for you on this Monday.
Plus, with all this crazy weather, how do you protect your skin? We're going to get advice from a dermatologist live on our set.
The hassles and details to remember in opening a business. Construction, painters, wallpaper hangers, decorators. The office furniture is usually left for the last minute, and it may not get there on time. But never fear. Call FRA, Furniture Rental Associates, 212-868-0300. Rent temporary affordable office furnishings from high-tech to traditional until that other furniture arrives. FRA. They'll make furnishing your office child's play.
Experience a classic, the Dutchess County Fair, on Route 9 in Rhinebeck, New York. August 21st through the 26th, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. daily, where you'll find all the family fun and excitement a real country fair has to offer. A variety of livestock shows, petting zoo, antiques, arts and crafts, horse shows, over 100 food booths, and rides and games for kids of all ages. Come to the Dutchess County Fair in Rhinebeck, New York, at the Dutchess County Fairgrounds. There's been nothing like it since the 19th century. Experience a classic.
We know there are many of you out there who have called 1-800-DENTIST, and yet for whatever reason you still haven't seen a dentist, which means somehow we didn't do our job because we haven't convinced you how important it is for you to see a dentist every 6 months, or how easy it is for 1-800-DENTIST to match you with a dentist that's just right for you and your family. So come on, how about another chance? 1-800-DENTIST has matched thousands of people with pre-screened dentists. Why not you?
All around the world, Siemens is energizing the cities and towns we live in. We engineer new ways to efficiently generate, distribute, and use power. And by providing energy to people everywhere, we're giving them the power to live better.
Traffic and weather on the 2s.
6:42. Don Piccin in for Rachel Lusker today. Don, how are the roads this morning?
Hey, good morning, Michael. Well, the bad news is we had a crash overnight southbound VQE at the Brooklyn Bridge. The good news is got a new guardrail going in and blocking the right-hand lane until they get that complete little construction project. Let's start on the Big Island Southern State Parkway here at exit 19. Westbound traffic moving away from us into Queens, the Kew Gardens interchange. That's the Grand Central Parkway at Jewel Avenue, moving very nicely towards this structure, among other things, the Triborough Bridge, getting you into Manhattan and the Bronx without too many problems. And in Jersey right now, Route 22, a little bit tight through Hillside because of some flooding. It's on the right-hand side near Broad Street. Street cleaning rules today, yes, and Janine now has the forecast.
All right, Don Piccin, thank you so much. Right now, Doppler radar showing an all clear, basically, for the tri-state area. A few very light showers. Otherwise, it is a dry morning commute, a lot better than what it could be with this particular weather pattern. We've got a stalled front, which is going to mean showers and thunderstorms kind of on and off through the day today. So grab the umbrella. Your commute home might be a little bit wetter than it is right now, but you could get caught in a downpour. The high today, because of the cloud cover and looking at that northwest wind, 80 degrees. That's the high, a lot better than 100 degrees. Peekskill 78 today, and you should top out in northwestern New Jersey around Hopatcong around 77 degrees. The 5-day forecast is looking good. After tomorrow, the rain clears out. Our next chance of rain is Friday, but in between, beautiful, drier weather. The humidity is going to really go down starting tomorrow.
Great.
Thanks, Janine. 6:44 right now, and time for a look at some of this morning's headlines. Another suicide bombing in Israel. This one happening at a restaurant about 50 miles north of Tel Aviv, and the only person killed is the bomber. Police say the explosion injured 20 people. Those injured are considered minor. Palestinian militant group, the Islamic Jihad, has claimed responsibility. This bombing comes just 3 days after another Palestinian suicide attack on Thursday at a Jerusalem pizzeria.
It'll be a hero's welcome today for John Tobin, the Fulbright scholar released from a Russian jail last Wednesday. He served half of a one-year drug sentence. Tobin says he was framed on a marijuana charge when he refused to spy for the Russians. He will be the guest of honor in Ridgefield, Connecticut, where he will cut the yellow ribbon off a tree in front of Town Hall.
All those studies you heard about that say that wine is good for your health may have missed a major fact, at least according to Danish researchers. They say that wine drinkers are usually richer, smarter, and better educated than average, and all those factors are also associated with better health, mainly because those people generally have better access to health care. 73 degrees outside right now, and the intense heat and humidity that we've been dealing with lately can really take a toll on your skin. But there are a few ways to protect yourself. Dr. Diane Benson is here, joining us now with a few tips. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to have you in. We know that we had 103 or so last week, but we have a few tips. Some are somewhat obvious. Let's go ahead and put those up on the screen. Things you can do to avoid trouble in the heat, and then we'll get to some other questions in just a couple of moments. Obviously, you want to apply sunscreen. You want to apply it regularly. even if you're going in the water, it doesn't necessarily hold. Is that the case?
No, even if you're in the water, you really need to apply it every 2 hours and after getting wet. And keep in mind that also a white T-shirt has an SPF of only 5, and a wet white T-shirt has an SPF of only 1 or 2. So if you think your kids are protected when you put a T-shirt on them in the pool, it's wrong.
SPF, what's the baseline number we should be looking for? You hear a lot of different reports on
15
that.
on an everyday basis, but if you're fair or you tend to burn, probably a 30.
Is it true what they say that fair-skinned folks are more likely to develop a cancer problem later in life than our dark-skinned?
Yeah, the more fair your skin is, the lighter your hair or eye color, the more likely you are to sustain sunburns and to potentially develop a skin cancer later on.
But what about the fact that, at least what we hear anyway, that kids tend to get most of the sun damage rather than adults? You get most of your sun damage prior to age 20, is that right?
Yes, most of the sun damage is accrued during the first 18 years of life, so it's at that time that it's most important to wear sunblock.
After 20, though, a lot of us develop other problems that worsen in some of the heat that we're getting, and you brought some products in to talk about some of the things that we can do to maybe handle things like acne and eczema.
Right. Well, there are some medical skin conditions which are exacerbated by heat. For instance, if you suffer from rosacea, rosacea is a condition which affects adults where they develop acne in the middle of the face, but they also develop a flushing or redness in the face. And that redness is exacerbated by the heat. We recommend that people who have this condition try to use some cool compresses on their face when it's a very hot day. And if they're using a medication for their rosacea that's made of a lotion or a cream, they might want to switch to a gel formulation.
What about tanning beds? Better or worse than the sun?
No tan is a safe tan. They're
Really?
just as bad. They don't cause burning, but they do cause tanning, and they do cause substantial damage to the skin.
How about those staining type products, a tan in a bottle?
If you want to have the look of a tan, that's probably the safest way to get it, but it doesn't replace sun protection. So if you're using a self-tanner, you should still use sun protection when you're in the sun.
So keep yourself covered. Stay out of the sun, wear the big hat, wear the products.
Especially in the middle of the day between the hours of 10 and 2.
All right, well, hopefully we catch a break from some of this heat and don't have to be overly concerned with it, but appreciate you coming in this morning, Dr. Diane Benson. Great advice.
Yep.
Cetaphil, huh? Been using that stuff, but to take off makeup. Works pretty well for that, you know?
It's a great product.
Thanks for coming in this morning.
Sure, thank you.
Appreciate it.
It is 6:48. Time for sports. Here's Gary Apple.
Well, it certainly wasn't a very good weekend for the Yankees. For the first time in 4 years, the Yanks were beaten by a game-ending walk-off home run. The A's beat the Yanks in dramatic fashion, and they sweep the 3-game series. Mike Mussina gave up just 2 hits in 8 innings, but they were back-to-back home runs in the 5th. This was Miguel Tejada. Chavez followed. It was 2-0 Oakland. But top 8, the Yankees would tie it. Clay Bellinger, a 2-run homer. It was tied at 2-2, and it stayed that way until the 9th. 1 on, 2 out. It's Stanton versus Giambi, and say goodnight. Jason Giambi, the game-winning 2-run homer. The A's beat the Yankees 4-2. That is 11 consecutive wins for Oakland, and what a scene out there. Here is Mr. Giambi on the game-winning homer.
In that situation, I don't know, I just bet the whole bank that he's going to throw me that 3-2 breaking ball, and I just sat on it and ended up getting it. You know, my Stanton's so tough against lefties. I don't know, I guess guessed right and, you know, ended up hitting it out of the ballpark.
He's obviously a guy you don't, it's a terrible thing to say after what just happened, but you don't really want him to beat you. And to tell you the truth, I didn't think there was any way that he was going to be looking for a breaking ball.
The Red Sox won, and so the Yankees' lead at the moment is 3 games. Bad weekend for the Mets, too. They got swept by the Cardinals at Shea. And ladies and gentlemen, this is Mr. Mark McGwire. His last 10 hits had been home runs, now make it 11. McGwire a 2-run bomb in the 1st. He now has 575 in his career, 2-0 St. Louis. Very next batter, Albert Pujols, and there goes another. Back-to-back home runs off Mr. Chen. It was 3-0 in a hurry. The Mets never recovered. They got beat by a final of 4-1. The one bright spot at Shea, the return of the kid. Gary Carter back in town. He was inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame. Carter spent 5 years with the Mets after spending more than a decade in Montreal. He helped lead the Mets to the 1986 World Series. It was really a very magical time here in New York. Here's Gary.
I needed a new change, a fresh new start, and that happened here in New York. To come here and be welcomed by my teammates, which led to the greatest season ever in 1986, where we won the World Championship, will be long, long remembered.
And so one bright spot in what was certainly a very rough baseball weekend here in New York with both the Yanks and the Mets getting swept. That's it. I'm Gary Apple. That's Big Apple Sports for this Monday morning.
6:50 is the time. Let's find out about the latest from CBSMarketWatch.com. Susan McGinnis is here with an update. Susan,
good morning. One final look. It is shaping up to be a relatively calm morning on Wall Street. We'll see what happens when I check it again on the early show. For one stock, we are watching AT&T today. Executives have been hot after potential suitors and partners for its cable TV business. They reportedly held meetings on Friday with executives of Microsoft and Walt Disney. AT&T apparently wants one of them to invest or combine assets with AT&T Broadband. AT&T has made it clear, though, that it is casting a wide net for possible buyers. The economy is the big topic on Wall Street this whole week, with a lot of numbers out ahead of next week's Fed meeting on interest rates. Among the big releases, retail sales, industrial production and inventories, a big inflation reading, consumer prices, trade, housing starts, and consumer sentiment. Well, trading begins today after a rise for the blue chips on Friday, but a loss for the week. The Dow rose 117 points for the day, but lost 97 for all of last week. We had the NASDAQ up 7 points on Friday. It was down 110 last week. Overnight, Tokyo shares ended lower, but not much movement in Europe so far today. Today begins the first tire defect lawsuit to go to trial against Bridgestone Firestone, so we're watching that company. It involves a Texas family injured when their Ford Explorer rolled over on a Mexican highway. Bridgestone's president says a settlement is still possible. It's already settled more than 150 cases out of court. Microsoft has agreed to alter the Windows XP operating system to accommodate concerns from Eastman Kodak that it steers users of its digital cameras away from its software and services. Tomorrow, Kodak announces development of 3 new digital cameras compatible with XP. And finally, Oracle is still in the spotlight. The CFO saying that the software maker is likely to miss its sales targets for the second quarter in a row. Not good news for that company. Check that out on our website, cbs.marketwatch.com.
All right. Thank you, Susan.
Have a good day, guys.
You too. The time right now is 6:52. Let's go ahead and check our traffic and weather on the twos. We're going to begin with Don Piccin. Don, give us the latest.
All right, Lisa, no problems at the big 3 Hudson River crossings, both elevations of the George. Moving well. The Lincoln about 5 to 10, and the Lincoln make that the Holland the worst of the 3, about a 15-minute wait right now. Verrazano Bridge and the Bayonne Bridge, as well as the Outer Bridge crossings, no delays, no crashes. Here we are at the Southern State Parkway, exit 19. We do have a problem on the LIE Service Road, on the North Service Road, heading westbound near Glen Cove Road. You've got a crash there. And Grand Central Parkway, so far, so good at Jewel Avenue. Street cleaning rules today always in effect for today. Mass Transit is on time and on track as well. And now, Janine, take it away. You've got the forecast.
Thanks so much. I'll do that right now. A Doppler radar. We're looking for, well, there you go. All right, we've got showers now moving into eastern Long Island. Very light stuff so far this morning. Most of you have a very dry early morning commute. Look for some showers on and off through the day today. And here's what's going on. There's one front that's stationary, and that's going to focus all of the rain through the afternoon, but another front will come through tonight. That one's in the Great Lakes now. It is going to bring us drier weather by Wednesday. Meantime, we do have some serious showers out there for the afternoon, but this morning, all is quiet. And Jim's up there in the chopper now with a look at our commute this morning. Hi, Jim.
And good morning, Janine. As a result of some of the rain that we've seen the past couple of days, we have some flooding now with us. This is Route 22 in Newark by Weequahic Park. And the eastbound side was completely shut for a while. That has now been reopened. However, there is only one lane open. The westbound side also only one lane open. We see about a delay for 1 mile in each direction. Keep this in mind. This will eventually subside, but you do want to head for Route 78 as your alternate. Let's go back over to the news desk. Lisa, Michael, back to you.
All right, Jim, thanks. 6:54 right now, and it's time for this week's Hometown Hero. She may be a relative newcomer to New York, but she's already having a huge impact serving the vital needs of the poor. What looks like a picnic in East New York is really something more serious. It's a gathering for a mobile soup kitchen at lunchtime in the playground of St. Gabriel's Church.
How you doing?
The Soup Kitchen on Wheels is part of an effort to deliver breakfast and lunch to nearly 1,000 people a day in several Brooklyn communities. And at the spiritual wheel of this special Winnebago called the Hunger Hunter is Sister Madeline Kavanaugh. Just a year ago, she moved from Boston to Brooklyn because she wanted to serve the very needy.
Well, it's like Boston multiplied by 25. The skyline helped me to realize the immensity of the city in comparison to Boston, which is really small time.
Bigger cities mean bigger problems, so her mobile soup kitchen carries a social worker for help and assistance. Mental illness, drug addiction, and prostitution. She has seen and heard it all.
It's like we had a young woman who just recently was 4 months pregnant, new to the country, abandoned, no benefits, no house, no nothing. And actually, the volunteers here brought her around.
Sister Madeline's van relies on volunteers, and she insists they follow the message of a lithograph mounted inside their vehicle. It shows Jesus on a bread line. The sister's steadfast adherence to that philosophy has gained her admirers.
The way she relates to people in a very friendly way.
She has a way of just reaching out to the people. She's very warm-hearted. She's open to anybody.
Despite the praise, Sister Madeline is humble when she's called a hometown hero.
Heroes, this kind of thing is just the most normal reaction, and no one person does it. This is a whole team of people.
With the needs of local people served, Sister Madeline's crew has closed shop, but not for the day. They were off to another location to continue serving the poor. Sister Madeline says that she fears that her mobile soup kitchen will be on the road even more in the future. She says gentrification of East New York is scattering the poor in other areas of the city.
The time right now is 6:56. Straight ahead, movie fans go for a second helping of American Pie.
Check out this week's box office winners as soon as I get my tongue untied in a moment.
Oh, shoot.
Tylenol salutes this hometown hero. We'd like to tell the story of your hometown hero. Contact us at 888-HOMETOWN or on the web at cbsnews.com.
I like to come here early in the morning, before the rest of the world puts their 2 cents in.
When you have pain and sleeplessness, but worry about taking something, reach for Tylenol PM. It's non-habit forming, stops your pain and helps you sleep, so you can wake up refreshed.
If I don't have a good morning, I don't hold out much hope for the rest of the day.
Take comfort. It's Tylenol PM.
Diamonds. The Jewelry Source is a direct diamond importer. The Jewelry Source has thousands of diamonds, most with GIA or EGL certs, laser inscribed and guaranteed the lowest price. 1-carat solitaires are $5.99. 1-carat studs $3.99. The Jewelry Source has thousands of rings, pendants, earrings, and bracelets, and specializes in platinum and invisible settings. Only the Jewelry Source gives you a low price and double value guarantee. Buy factory direct. The Jewelry Source in Fort Lee.
Presenting the all-new Mercury Mountaineer. With a fully independent rear suspension, it rides smooth. With a rigid boxed frame, it reduces vibration. And with available fully automatic all-wheel drive, it laughs at the terrain. The Mercury Mountaineer. At last, these canyons, peaks, and valleys have an SUV of their own. Starting around $31,000 with low 3.9% financing.
Imagine connected color copiers for a last-minute pitch that wins. Yes, Icon! Now, this attorney can carry all the files for her biggest case ever in her pocket.
Yes, Icon!
Amazing! This printer will never outgrow his digital print equipment because it grows with his business. Yes, Icon! When it comes to communicating any kind of business information, imagine what Icon can do for you.
Closed captioning on CBS2 is brought to you by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota.
You're watching the CBS2 Information Network. Nobody has our sources.
American Pie 2 grabbed the biggest slice of box office pie this weekend. The R-rated comedy brought in more than $45 million. It pushed another sequel out of the top spot. Rush Hour 2, starring Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker, came in second place, followed by The Princess Diaries at number 3. Nicole Kidman's ghostly thriller, The Others, debuted in fourth place, taking in just under $14 million. And rounding out the top 5, the remake of Planet of the Apes at $13.3 million.
Again, my theory about the power of 15-year-old boys
is
holding true right there with American Pie and Planet of the Apes,
Yep.
the whole bit. Have you guys seen anything recently? Never mind.
No,
Have you?
I just watched the city. I'm too busy for that, settling in.
I did see Original Sin with Anthony
Any good?
Banderas. No.
She said no.
Not good?
Nope.
Oh, there you hear it.
You heard it from me.
There's the
I'm
review.
not the movie critic, just my opinion.
Thanks for watching us this morning.
Have a great day, everybody.
Following a massive recall of over 6.5 million tires, Bridgestone Firestone executives are finally heading to court, facing their first tire defect lawsuit. It's early this Monday morning, the 13th of August, 2001.
From the heart of New York City, on 5th Avenue at Trump Plaza, it's Bryant Gumbel and Jane Clayson. This is The Early Show on CBS.